Previously on Rise of the Runelords. As the group met back at the Rusty Dragon, Icky was obviously distraught, the knowledge that they'd have to travel back to his home from which he'd been banished weighing heavily on him. Separate conversations with members of the party seemed to do little to ease his mind, though they made it clear they were with him regardless of his decision. After a few more drinks to calm nerves, the party decided to call it a night. Icky's dreams, however, weren't calm and restful as he would have hoped, as a dark visitor invaded his dreams. A figure shrouded in a familiar purple robe appeared before Icky and began to speak. The Ascended brought Icky a glimpse of things to come, telling him if he and his friends continued on his path to attempt to interfere with his machinations, Icky alone would be responsible for what harm befell his village. He then left Icky to awaken and ponder his message. After rising in the morning, Icky confessed his dream to the group, along with his hesitation at returning to his former home. Reaffirming they'd follow his lead on whichever way he chose, it was decided that heading to Hollow Mountain to attempt to stop the Ascended from gathering anything for his lord was the correct course of action. Today, the adventure continues.
That's a long time to be on a fucking bird.
That is, and it's completely over the ocean. Which I'm sure Gerald is super happy about.
She ain't seeing shit.
She can't see it. Gerald is completely unaware of this and therefore fine.
I ain't seen shit.
For her, you know.
Alright, is there anything anybody would like to do on the ride itself? Just otherwise, we can get to the landing.
Tarnan actually thinks of being kind to Grilda and uses his cantrips to lessen the noise and sense of motion and just kind of make it more of a calm surf sound. Oh shit, she's seasick. Scratch that. A calm leaves on the wind sound. Yeah, that'll work. Wheat! Waving. Waves of wheat. Yes, that's what it is. Maybe it goes back and forth between the three until he actually settles on one.
So, because being a leaf on the wind doesn't really work out.
Oh no! Wash your spear?
Yeah.
Too soon?
Too soon.
I'm gonna say this succeeds in your outward representation of its success is the lack of vomiting on the tip.
Hey, that works.
Yeah. Alright, as you begin to close in on this small island, and Icky does know that you're getting close to the end of Dwayne's mileage before he has to land. Icky, you do recognize this small offshoot island. You've been there before. It's, a handful of hours travel from the Hollow Mountain, from the monastery. And as Dwayne begins to come in, you do see a
purple bit.
On one half of the island, the larger island next to it, you do see a small, fishing village right on the beach. And then almost opposite that, on the smaller island, you do see a small hut, kind of by itself. So Dwayne would be able to land at either.
Sorry, thinking. Here, I guess so Icky would, at the very least, inform the group about what he knows about the small fishing village. I'm posing a question privately to nobody in particular.
Didn't know any in particular.
Yeah, obviously you know everything about it.
It's a small village.
Yes.
The fifth.
Yeah. So you've been.
A human village or is it a village?
I would. The fisherman village. You have to tell me, but.
I'm gonna say yes. You have traveled there before.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So. All right. So. In character. All right. So we could go to this. We can either. We have some options here, guys. We need Dwayne's gonna need to rest here. We can either try resting outside the village, further out here, in the village, just a small fishing village, and, but we'd probably be able to stop there, maybe give her some information on what's been going on around the land. But also this small island, there's a hut here. I wasn't sure if he was still here, but
I would say you could see smoke coming out of the chimney.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he was still here. It looks like he is. There's somebody at this hut who, assuming it's still him, who might be able to help us.
Help us out.
Somebody I knew back in my misspent youth. He's likewise, he's a bit of a troublemaker. So he could maybe let us know, like, if anybody in the area has heard anything weird happening, maybe caught sight of the Ascended or a dragon, I think this guy would know.
So you're saying possible information, probably willing to put us up for a night, and embarrassing stories about Icky's youth? What are we waiting for?
Fuck yeah.
All right. With that, Dwayne does begin to descend, and if you would like to describe your hut, just a quick description of what they would see as they came to a landing on the beach near it.
Okay, you were asking me to start, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So the hut on this island, it's not much of a crossing to the fishing village. It's not like super deep water, so it's close enough, but still far enough where if you didn't want to be in the village, it'd probably be a nice spot. Kind of looking at the shape of the house, it maybe from the outside seems like a regular small hut, but certain dimensions of it are slightly elongated, and there seems to be some areas for storage alongside of it, almost like you would more think of it as like a workshop or like a, I don't know, small place of work rather than a proper village house. It's kind of what you see, and otherwise the chimney seems especially wide, slightly larger than a house, and the smoke that you saw earlier is more of a black, billowy, sooty kind of smoke. Maybe more than just a couple small logs. There might be something else in there.
Have we landed yet?
Yes. So, as you take that site in, Dwayne does land on the beach, I would say 100-ish feet away from the hut. And then everybody dismounts and
Unwraps the dwarf burrito.
Yes, I was going to say the dwarf burrito is unwrapped.
So as we approach the hut, he just kind of like throws his head back and just lets out a big.
Okay.
Nice.
Prawn looks over at Icky.
With almost what you come to identify as almost a chuckle in his quick haw.
Okay.
Oh, and then sorry, for stuff like this, Lee, you can just ask.
in.
I would say You would be busy inside, so
Yeah.
you might not see anything. But when Dwayne landed, I would say you were able to tell that something large had landed fairly close
So
before
I would
Icky
say-
lets out his sound.
Yeah, I would say as Icky is doing the song of his people, from the side of the house, a small wooden and brass wheel thing kind of starts moving out from the house towards you, not necessarily in a fast manner, kind of slow actually. It almost looks like a beer barrel, like a liquid barrel that you'd see stacked in a tavern with bands of brass around it and some small wheels fixed to the bottom of it. It just kind of rolls out and it seems like it's kind of checking out the area, more or less.
So Grelda would be very familiar with this particular setup.
Air doesn't usually come to her in quite such a fashion, so I don't think she's going to leap forward and like search for some sort of camp area.
Okay. And the only thing that's different about it, other than the brass fixings and the wheels at the bottom of it, is there is a small tube kind of sticking out the front middle of this thing. And as it wheels up to you, again, not too fast or doing anything special, Gendrick opens the front door to his house and just kind of explains, what's that? I'll go ahead and describe my character real quick because that would make sense. Just
the appearance.
Yep. Here. So basically, what you see in the house is a fairly tall, standard human height though, slender fire genasi. So ash gray skin, still very humanoid, but with ash gray skin and kind of like bright red, orange hair. You might have heard of some genasi actually having like actual like elemental hair. This isn't. It's more human than that, let's say. But also some striking bright orange eyes as well. Outside of that, you kind of you see him wearing commoner clothes, but slightly nicer commoner clothes, tall black boots. Also happens to be wearing, you notice, a steel breastplate that happens to have a series of characters kind of inlaid side the breastplate as well, and it seems like they might actually be slightly glowing in a green-blue color. You also see holding in his hand is what seems to be like a staff or a quarterstaff that someone of like a wizard may have, but it also seems to be inlaid with those same runes and also have bands of steel and brass affixed to it as well. Not in a particularly hostile stance, but just kind of a little surprised, a little confused, maybe a little bit of a hermit, not expecting to see too many people fly up on his front doorstep in a giant bird.
There you go. I got the picture you sent me in there.
I admit I was actually picturing an R2 unit, so I'm very pleased to see what this looks like.
All right.
So it's like Icky would just like raise an arm. Gendrick, long time no see.
Is that you, Icky? It's been 5 years? 6 years?
Thereabouts, yeah. How have you been?
I've been better, to be honest, but it's nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Is everything all right? You seem to have a crew with you here, and I don't get many visitors. It is nice to see you, but
Of course, sorry to drop in on you like this. Yeah, I gotta admit, and things aren't super great on our end either, but we're hoping you could, at the very least, offer us a place to kind of rest for a little while. You may have noticed our ride here, Dwayne, the Rock. He needs to rest at the very least. I have a lot to tell you. We have a lot to catch up on. But first, let me make some introductions here.
Do you have a bathroom I could use first? It's been a long day.
Yeah, sure. I'm not exactly set up for a company, but I'm sure you can find a spot to stay, sit down, and do whatever else you need to do. Please don't touch anything in the workshop. For your own safety, of course.
This poor person has never met Sanichi.
You are in for fun.
So again, like if you would go around and introduce everybody and let them make their own introductions if they were so inclined, but otherwise it'd just be like, that Tarnin, that Geisen, that Grelda, that's Sanichi.
Grelda, what's up, Sasha? Like, hello?
Well, if Icky speaks with you, I'll take Icky's word on it. We go way back, and actually it'll be nice to spend some time catching up and see where you've been the last couple of years. But I have a sitting area out front, so you can all get settled. I don't know where you came from on this bird, but you might be a little tired. So if you want to, I can kind of basically open the front door of the house, have the little, I don't have a name for the R2-like thing at the moment, but let him roll his way into the house first, and I can just kind of point to the basically front of the house sitting area. And as we're moving, you don't notice any like especially nice furnishings. Like it's not a complete dump, but it's certainly not anything fancy. And you see basically a very small kind of front sitting area. It almost like a studio apartment type setup. It's pretty cramped, and you kind of, just based on the dimensions, assume that given that there's an open door on the back side leading to what looks to be a workshop, most of the entire dwelling is just a workshop.
I'll surreptitiously ask Sasha where the nearest alcohol is.
Do you have any alcohol in your place of residence, Kendrick?
We've got a couple bottles of wine, of course.
Because Grelda's axe, Sasha, is a magical axe, and one of its attributes is she can use an action to have Sasha point her to the nearest source of alcohol. So out of character, you just let her know where the alcohol is, and then Grelda would know it was in that general direction.
There's going to be like a kind of like pantry kind of in the corner, small setup that I'm sure will have something that will be detectable by Sasha over there.
Okay, thank you. Because I can't tell what type of alcohol it is or how much it is. It's just the nearest that I'm not personally carrying. So her gaze is like kind of drawn that way, and then she looks back like she knows she's not supposed to do anything.
Yeah, the fishing village here doesn't exactly have the best wines in the realm, but it'll do in a pinch. So I'll also just kind of go through the process and say like, yeah, take a load off. Maybe I just indicate there's some loaves of bread over here, a bottle of wine or two in the pantry. Just, make yourself at home.
Immediately goes to the bottles of wine in the pantry. We'll make myself at home. So what kind of wines do I find? Even this was coming on.
All right.
Well, Sean is looking up all the different wines and flavors.
Now we have to make a wine spreadsheet.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so
Actually, hold on. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I'm not proficient in brewer's tools, so I don't have my own brew. Sorry, but I would just buy like whatever I could probably, whatever happens to show up at the fishing village. I do happen to get around and leave this particular island every now and then, but it might have been a few months or so since I've done that, so nothing too fancy.
But it may have ingredients that Earl has never encountered before, because it's probably something that was made on these islands.
Fair.
all right, you let me know if you end up tasting some, Grelda.
Oh, she's already pouring. If you want to argue around it, that's fine, and we'll just circle back to this, since this is clearly not...
No, it is totally clear. Like, it has no color at all to it. It is made. Gendrick does purchase it at the fishing village, and it is made by one of the elder gentlemen who lives there. in the back of his hut in a giant tub. It
I
has
love that Ronald knows this by tasting it.
No, I mean this is what Gendrick would be able to tell you, and then the rest will be combined with how it's served and what you can taste. It has a bit of a floral taste to it, actually, and it's stored in. It's stored in a complex series of copper tubes that wind their way through the top of one of his workbenches. So as opposed to like a wine bottle. He ends up serving it to you in... he hands you a small, hollowed out squirrel skull. And that is the traditional way to drink it in this particular fishing village. And it actually goes down very smooth.
Well, probably like a dozen-sized serving.
It might actually be a squirrel head. No, that would probably be. Geisen might be able to do that with one hand.
As you started describing that, Sean, all I could think of was Zima. And as you continued in the description, it just was like, holy fuck, he's talking about Zima. Right up to the end, you really just nailed how one drank Zima.
Well, in canon, Zima is actually like the most famous alcohol in Varisia.
So this is made by like someone local to. I'm sorry, I've never seen clear wine before. So this is technique I would like to like.
All Gendrick knows is that he purchased it from a gentleman in the fishing village across the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's water in between us.
I don't especially get along too well with the fisher folk over there. I mean, I can buy supplies and occasionally do odd jobs for them, but we don't exactly get along on a social level.
Probably not poison.
Probably not poison. Very nice. Alright, so Grandma pulls out her big book and starts scribbling some notes and stuff.
Tarnan is ransacking the kitchen and preparing a meal for 6, apparently.
Oh, yeah. It seems like you know your way around the kitchen. Like I said,
No, not at all. But I want to try something once.
I do like having company. It's just, can't remember the last time I've done it, to be honest. So this is quite overwhelming, but I like it.
So as Tarnan is chopping and mixing, he bothers to look up and says, "So how do you know Icky?"
Oh, now that's a tale. So I knew Icky. We got in a few scrapes back in his training days.
Do tell.
Oh, well, it just so happened that during that time I was also an apprentice in the artificer arts, let's say. And from time to time, the monks would need help, services of the artificer from the particular master I was apprenticing under. And just so happened that Icky might have been tasked with some of these things, and we'd see each other around town. And from time to time, I provided, his chapter, was it? His organization, we'll say, with a variety of trinkets and this, that, and the other things. And sometimes Icky helped me test out a few new designs of my own.
Tarnan pauses and points whatever implement happens to be in his hand at that moment. Points it out and says, "Artificer, that's something I don't know a lot about. Tell me a bit about that."
Yes, absolutely. So, probably the best way I would describe it is a wizard may get his power from books, a warlock may get his power from a patron, a sorcerer from their blood, but we artificers like to say it's from our tools, and holds up basically like a metal engraving implement, and our talent. So, while we do study the magic arts, we apply them through our instruments, our tools, and into objects. You may have seen my contraption friends here. We've been on a few adventures of our own together. Has the ability to produce fire And, well, let's say each artificer tends to have their own speciality, and mine is utilizing objects and fire together. That just happens to be my background, happens to be my specialty, but otherwise, artificers are also known for providing all sorts of services for enhancing items, creating magical objects, that sort of.
When Geisen hears this, he just kind of steps a couple steps the opposite way.
Does Tarnan notice?
I mean, Geisen takes a couple of steps back. I think anybody who was, like, could see him within the peripheral vision would notice that he took a couple of steps back. I don't think it'd be hidden at all.
You are apparently armed with some. In my mind, it was a whisk by the way that you pointed at him.
I was thinking wooden spoon, but okay. I mean, yeah, a whisk would work. Okay.
Tanisha pulls out her recorder and looks at it and says, I thought this made me a bard, but you're saying using instruments makes you an artificer?
Nice. Love
Wait,
it.
village too.
Yeah. Well, let's just say I appreciate the pun. It's not exactly my ideal situation providing services to fisher folk who may need metal nets and hooks mended and things like that. While that's certainly a capability that I provide, can provide to pay the bills more or less. Well, let's just say I've been looking to utilize my talents in a better way than I have been for some time now.
Tarnan arches an eyebrow and stares you in the eyes and say, "What type of employment are you looking for?"
Well, let's just say I'm a little tired of being the artificer, and I'd like to be the artificer, as it were. And well, let's just say myself and my friend here points to the R2D2, like the steampunk R2D2. We can handle ourselves pretty well in a scrape. I like to say, let's just say I've been in a position where I would like to use my skills to make a difference, let's say, and unfortunately I don't feel like I'm making much of a difference, or at the very least doing the right things with my skill.
How do you feel about goblins?
Oh, goblins. Well, let's just say me and my friend here, point star 2D2, have reduced a few goblins to cinders in our day.
While this conversation is going on, Tarnan looks over at Icky and messages to him. Do you trust him?
He's never done me wrong. I can't say he's never steered me wrong, but I can't say I've never steered him wrong either.
Speaking of using my skills the way I would like to, I actually could provide a demonstration, if you will. I recently unlocked a new craft, let's say, and I've actually been looking to have someone help me test a particular object.
By all means.
Be just like old times, right?
Just like old times. So Gendrick
Tarnan takes a step back.
kind of turns around, slides open a drawer, and pulls out what appears to be a very, very large and very thick monocle. So glass monocle, but very thick, and on the outside it's kind of embedded in a. It's basically brass with another series of insignias on it, and then basically tosses it to Icky. Say, catch.
Grabs it, unless the DM's gonna make you roll for it.
No, that one I'll let you catch.
He really takes a look at it and just kind of like holds it up, looks through it, like, okay.
So, one of the things that artificers are known for is the ability to embed our spells into objects. And you may see on the side of this object there is a small indentation. Once you press on that indentation, and you hold it up to your eye, you will basically have the ability to see much better in the dark.
Really?
This effect will last for about 8 hours, and you should be able to use it about 10 times before it runs out of charges.
Okay. So like, it can just kind of like secures it, you know, in his eye. Looks around, it's like, well, like, what time of day is it?
With when you left, I would say it's at the end of dusk, so it's probably starting to get pretty dark right about now, actually.
Okay. Is it relatively well lit inside Genver's hut?
Gendry?
You know, it's now that folks are in here, we kind of got it set up to be lit, but it might be dusky. There might be some dark corners. Certainly in the workshop, there might be some areas on the edges that are especially dark.
And like you would be like, all right, well, you know, all right, let's try this out. Like seek out some dark corners and like try to like find somewhere you're just like, all right, I can't really like, see very well, and then like pop the spot that Gendry showed him, and provided it works, is loud.
Well,
Yes,
I'm glad you
it
appreciate it. That's a
gives it
relatively
the
new
dark.
invention of mine. Hopefully that helps you out for, you know, if I remember correctly, looking around the room, I believe all of us might have natural ability to see in the dark, so I'm happy to help you out, Nikki, in this case.
And he's just sitting here like closing the one eye, and closing it. No, just
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1.
This is amazing. Normally, like,
Kendrick
Charles
does it.
always lights up a coin for me, but
Oh.
Yes, but this would allow me to keep our stealth a little bit on the higher end. How hard would it be for you to make 2 of those for him? Or
Ah.
a set of goggles that did the same. Something so he could keep his stereoscopic vision.
Alright, sorry.
Oh.
If you guys want to keep RPing, I need to go put Olivia to bed.
Alright,
You don't
so
have to
now-
stop since this is you guys RPing together. I'll be
I
back down.
can RP. I have more things to go through.
Oh, no, I figure there's a bit more conversation.
yeah, we need to tell him about what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll jump into that. So yes, actually, to embed some of my power into an item that others can use, I unfortunately can only do this with one item at a time. However, this is we'll call it the test version. I suppose a pair of goggles would be a bit easier to use.
Far be it from me to tell an artificer how to do his craft. I was just hoping we could maybe.
Yeah, I would imagine that's certainly possible. So I figure you are some kind of adventure crew, given your provisions and your rock outside. So I figure who better to provide usable feedback on my craft. For what is an artist to no one to see the painting?
no, this will like Icky gets like noticeably a little bit more solemn as he's saying this. Like this will really come in handy with what we're here for. Thank you.
Yes, you're most welcome. I'm happy to see how that works out for you. Now, I could talk about being an artificer for some time, and I can certainly do some more demonstrations, but perhaps we want to take a moment to sit down, break bread, and catch up.
Yes, dinner is just about ready. And then turn and cast 4 different cantrips to improve and enhance the flavors of this food. So no matter how bad it would have tasted, it now tastes magnifique.
I'm thinking of the episode of Futurama where Bender adds a little bit of water mixed with LSD in all of his dishes and makes him a great chef even though it's abominable.
Yeah,
Does
pretty
this
much.
still have like the nutritional value of burnt potatoes, or like
Yeah, the value doesn't change, but the color can change, the flavor can change, and the consistency can change. So this tastes like a really nice, fine meal. Like, holy crap, Tarnin can cook. No, you really can't. But you'll never know that. Unless an hour from now you suddenly feel ill and burp up some weird tastes that just don't quite mesh with what you had.
Excellent. Let me clear a spot on the table. So, like, the front room that we're kind of all in, there's a relatively large table in the middle with the surface of the table's all beat up, like it was partially used as a workshop or something at some point. And kind of takes like stacks of papers and just random metal bits and the instruments and kind of like picks them up and tosses them in the corner, like they're not anything important. And so now there's kind of enough room for everyone to sit down and hang out and have a meal and drink some Zima.
Drink some Zima. All right.
I'm totally gonna like off table talk. I'm gonna buy some Zima for the next session.
They still make it.
yeah, I was gonna say, do they even make it anymore?
It was back for a while. I don't know if they stopped that experiment. But.
Guess who's back?
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like Crystal Pepsi. It was pulled before its time.
I don't know. That stuff was weird. It froze at the. Yeah. Anyhow.
So Lee, the like to pull out of character for a second. I know like you went through some of our like the previously on stuff. Do you have a pretty good idea of the backstory of this campaign? Like, I'm just not sure how much time we should spend rehashing the finer details, which personally I'm happy to do.
We absolutely
but-
shouldn't. We should absolutely just tell this character whatever our characters are going to tell him, and that's it. Let him live what our characters tell him.
All right. Works for me.
Well, we're definitely gonna have at least one epic ballad from Sanichi.
Oh, fuck, I haven't written anything.
Oh.
I mean, I suppose I could re-sing one of my other ones. But I don't know if y'all want to suffer through that again.
It's not suffering. It was amazing.
Yeah, so I kind of think at this point, maybe like a short explanation of who the crew is and kind of like what you're doing will be good, and then we can kind of launch into like questions like, do you need a +1? Like,
Okay.
I just want to get out of here. Like, let's eat your bird and let's go. Like, you know.
God damn it, I do have this all.
Well, so I can like start off in terms of like I don't know what you heard from home, but I
Just recently, events at Sandpoint. It sounds like things are shaking up quite a bit over there. I haven't gotten around to hearing all the specifics, but it sounds like something's been happening.
Yeah, I after I left home, I wandered for a while and ended up in Sandpoint, and initially there had been a big goblin attack on the and there were a lot of like several goblin attacks, organized goblin attacks. It was crazy, and
Seems to me she'd whiplash saying goblin so many times. Goblin attack so many times.
we all just happened to be in the town when that was happening, and we just kind of rallied together and kind of became the de facto protectors of the town, the Sandpoint Five they call us, and it all started just like killing goblins and defending the town, but then things got crazy. We traveled all over. We found there's a plot. Like I don't know if you ever heard the reason I was banished from my home, but if you remember that Hollow Mountain that nobody was ever supposed to go to, that you helped us sneak into safely. Well, there was a pool there, and
I heard about the deaths, and I could have only had assumed.
yeah, it was terrible, man. And just everybody died, and it was this pool of angry water just took us all over, and we've been encountering it more. We've encountered it several times now, and it's all tied to this guy, the Ascended, and his lord that he's trying to bring back. It's.
Do you happen to know the name of this lord that they're trying to bring back?
That was Kurzog, right?
Kurzog.
I'm fairly. If none of the other players can confirm that.
Yeah, I was gonna roll a Arcana or Deception on, or not Arcana or History on this, just to see if I know anything. But
We're waiting for Sean to get back on that one though.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's quite the tale. A conspiracy and some sort of cursed water. You're saying that takes the same form? You've seen this angry water again?
It's been used in beer to control a village. We put that to an end. It's been in pools. It's been in barrels. It's been in a fountain. And everywhere we go, it keeps coming up to the 7-pointed star as well.
Troubling.
Yeah, and that's what we learned that this
You can say his name.
this Ascended was looking for these items to be able to free his lord or empower his lord, and he's looking for these. The thing he's looking for next. It's in Hollow Mount. And he said that if we interfere, he will take it out on Kursabal, on my home. And I didn't know if I could go back or not, and I still don't. But we have to stop him. We can't let him get these scales, and we can't let him hurt my people. So that's what we're here for.
Very well. DM, are you ready? Or could I do a roll?
Oh, what do you want to roll for?
Immortality.
So, I've gotten the 2-minute
Okay.
overview,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering if I could roll Arcana and or History on Kurzog, who I believe is the lord that the Ascended is working to.
Did I remember that name correctly?
You did. It is Lord Kurzog. Nice. Give me a. Let's go with history.
Ooh. 26.
Jesus. All right.
I was
So-
there.
My consciousness goes back in time. I will say that you haven't heard of Kurzog specifically, but you are aware that the ancient culture that used to inhabit Varissia was the Thessalonians, and you are aware that there were multiple Thessalonian lords that kind of split up the land. I will say with like this culture was thousands of years ago, so unfortunately even with a roll that high, considering your background you're not like you're an inventor, not a scholar.
Right.
So the things that you know are bits and pieces that you've picked up through either conversations or overhearing conversations, and they just kind of stuck, as opposed to you went to a library and spent like a long time really digging into it.
Yeah, your story is interesting because the Thessalonian culture, I don't know if you've heard of that, happened to be in this area, and they had many lords, but that name certainly isn't ringing a bell, and history is only a pastime of mine, let's say. So, unfortunately, I wish I could provide you more info on that, but I haven't heard that. certainly haven't heard any usable history from the fisher folk around here. I can tell you that much.
Understand.
What was that?
That's a pun I understand. History is not his pastime.
I think it's hilarious.
And Sneezy goes and sits in the corner and puts her head down in shame.
That's pun number 2. One for you, one for Lee.
Sneezy's still not sure how she made a pun earlier.
So, I'm going to ask, have you seen or heard anything about a dragon sighting in the area, or even just somebody rolling around in a purple robe? If I recall correctly, purple is not really the style in the fishing village.
Purple robe is definitely not the style of the village. Could I get a thumbs up or thumbs down, DM, if that would be something I had any even slight, like especially a dragon?
No.
No, I can't say that I have. The fisher folk would be talking all about someone in a purple robe, or even a dragon. I'm peers out through an open window. I'm sure they're alarmed at the moment, given the bird that just landed here. If anyone happened to notice, so while we do happen to get some large seabirds in these areas, nothing quite as large as a rock, I'm afraid.
Speaking of, Icky, how much room do we have on Dwayne? You feel comfortable adding to the load?
So if I recall correctly, Dwayne's weight load would accommodate one more unit who already traveled rather lightly.
Plus an R2?
I was going to say, we would have to include an astromech droid in that, apparently.
It's 500 pounds while flying its maximum speed, or 1,000 pounds at half speed.
Oof, we're not.
So I would say with Gendrick and Steampunk R2D2, it would probably push you up to that half speed, because I've been very generous with the 500 pounds as it was.
Alright.
And, well, I could also, if, I'm not going to jump to it, but we can talk more about that, sorry. I'm not going to talk about the weight of my unit at the moment.
Well,
Sorry.
Yeah, please don't. There are ladies here. I mean, come on.
Yes.
So I think you could also maybe like it might start getting a little bit heavy, but like I've got my own wings. Like I can certainly just fly alongside Dwayne and give him commands as needed from above or adjacent to you guys.
So, Tarnan, what are you suggesting?
Icky trusts you. You seem to be interested in looking for some adventure. If you're willing to put your life on the line and understand that we are, in fact, going up against dragons, stone giants, demigods, and this purple-robed bastard that needs to die, I am willing to entertain the idea of you joining our merry band if there's no objection, as he looks around to everyone individually. Sanishi?
Good.
Geisen? Geralda?
Dangerous.
Of course it's dangerous, but, I mean, we might benefit from having another person along. At the same time, do you have any objection to putting that person's life in danger?
I always object to putting people's lives in danger.
Yes. I need a yes or no, Grover. Would you be okay with it?
If he's okay with it, I have no objection.
Understanding what the stakes are.
If they are okay with it, sorry, and she apologizes to the R2 unit. If they are okay with it. Because so far we haven't heard from the R2.
Yes. Unfortunately, my eldritch companion here does not have the capability to speak. I've not yet crafted that add-on. Unfortunately, he also does not have a name because they... well, suffice to say, unfortunately, they are somewhat disposable. This is not my first companion. It's actually the 7th iteration.
Are they sentient?
Does that mean he's number 7?
Number 7. There it is.
Oh. Oh.
Original.
Yeah, so he's... I can craft these types of beings, but I can only typically control one at a time. He takes my commands through words, but he's not an automaton, let's say. He doesn't necessarily have a mind of his own. He can move, can be instructed to move, but he has limitations. Secondly...
Does Alexander look any relieved by that?
Geisen?
Homebrew is not threatened by this company.
Okay.
You see him fluffing up his feathers, like, yeah, I'm still
Ollivander very well understands his place.
Tarnan was going to message guys.
Homebrew just kind of flaunts his ability to fly a little bit. You
You just speak up.
So while this conversation is going on, Tarnan messages Geisen and said, "You paused. Are you truly okay with this idea? You seem a little bit reserved. Anything amiss?"
I think he seems fine. I'm not crazy about the idea of a fire-spewing robot near me, but I'm sure we'll work that out.
And I'm gonna continue on with some additions here. So, if there's any fears of the robots, well, we should have a conversation before we get into scrapes if we're planning to fight together. There's been unfortunate accidents in the past, but I can assure you I've learned from them. Those years are behind me. Secondly, I'm sick of the smell of fish, and I'm ready to leave at any time. I don't have anyone to tie me down to this location. I do have some debts, so I would say I would hope I could perhaps share in any financial gains that our crew may come upon, but otherwise I have very little else in the way of terms.
He's already calling us our crew. Seems he's already made himself at home. Any objections?
Grilda, like silently, and this wouldn't actually be obvious to anyone else, but it's I need to ask the DM if anything happens.
Okay.
Is holding Sasha as usual, and just sort of like inquiringly like sends thoughts towards Sasha. Like, is Sasha threatened by this? Is it weird to have somebody who makes magical objects when you're a magical object? Anything to get if there's any vibe back. Sasha does not generally have a response, so she doesn't necessarily expect anything, but if there is, she assumes if Sasha objects, there will be something.
Alright, hold on, let me...
While you're looking that up, Tarnan will lean in towards Gendrick a little bit. Okay. Just to be upfront. This lot has become very much my family. I'm more or less the manager, not the talent. This is my talent. This is my family. I don't mean to threaten you or wish you ill in any way, but if I think you are intending to harm them, I will bring harm upon you. I am hoping, honestly, that you prove to be a valuable asset, and you will get a fair share of whatever we come across. And hopefully that will work out until we see if you want to stick with us or not. I want you to be fully aware your life, just associating with us, will be in danger. If you're still feeling comfortable with that idea, none of my crew seems to object. You're welcome to join us.
I do objection.
Oh, never mind, you're out.
I want to voice this before we decide this, Tarnan. We need a better name term for the artifice. I can't run anything with 7. Or artifice. Or artifact. So basically, my objection is, if I'm going to make a proper ballad here, that thing, Coinstar 2D2, needs a better name.
Okay, just I want to make sure that I understand your concern. He can join us, but only if he brings that with a better name. Well, there it is. Gendrick?
But yeah, I'm gonna make a good song out of this. It needs to have something better to be called.
Well, what if he helps you figure out something that rhymes? With seven and artificer.
While this is going on, Grelda, you just get mostly a sense of calm. And you know it is not just your calm. Like you can feel that it's coming from Sasha. There is not, I don't want to use the word hesitation, but you get the sense of calm, but that there's more. That's the best way I can put it. There's no hesitation, there's no worry, there's no anger. It's just like you're calm, so you get that part, but you just feel like there's an incomplete puzzle, I guess is the best way I can describe it. That's the feeling you get.
Grelda, pleased that she has managed to connect to her weapon. Does pour a little bit of the wine on the blade, just, you know, as like a one for my friends kind of scenario.
Pours the Zima. Sorry, it's like my head
Zima,
canon is that it's
yes,
Zima
Zima.
in a squirrel skull.
The traditional way to drink Zima.
That's what all the
Very
90s.
well,
That's what all the people in the 90s.
We don't make the rules.
No.
I mean, that's the only way you're going to get any flavor out of it.
I can't say I've had that type of personal connection to any magical instruments that I've personally created, but I'm glad to hear it. As for the terms, well, I let's say this: I do accept the terms. I understand the risks. I've been out there before. Like I said, I've had to engage with goblins past, so I'm not a stranger to a fight. Me and my R2 unit here, of course.
Slayer.
And as far as protection with your family, well, I mean, look at me. I'm pretty slender. I can assure you that you have nothing to fear from me.
Tarnan looks over at Geisen. Yeah, size doesn't matter so much. And I've seen unexpected things looking over at Icky when it comes to taking down a dragon as well, so I'm not going to judge you by your size, but by your actions.
Fair. My only term to ensure that no one accidentally gets hurt by my hand is we should talk about tactics before we happen to get into a brawl. Otherwise, I agree, and I can assure you nothing bad will happen.
I exchange a glance with Grelda. Bit of an oh fuck expression on my face.
As far as the singing of songs goes, my particular school in the arts of the artifice is known as the artillerist. And the R2 unit is technically what's known as an eldritch cannon.
Oh.
So we can workshop that a bit, but just some background.
Does it explode?
It can explode.
So I can't even tell Jason just to
Only
stand
by
behind
my
it?
command. Perhaps if it takes some unfortunate, lucky damage, it may explode. But generally speaking, very rare if it explodes. Only when commanded.
Does Sanichi seem soothed by this?
Intrigued, at least. Those are some wonderful words that just got tossed out that have already exited my brain. If you don't mind repeating them.
Yes, certainly. So upon command, this thing here can, let's say, detonate itself in a 20-foot conjuration of flame.
I think she wants to know the names so that she can rhyme them.
Eldritch Cannon.
Artillerist? Is that right?
And I have literally.
Oh, sorry. I read I misread something. It's actually 60 feet, so it's very rare that this unit will explode. But if it does, it will be by our command and when we're in a safe distance. That's why there's been a few other iterations of it. It has served its purpose before.
Tarnan stares at Geisen, just kind of expectantly waiting for an approval or disapproval.
Is Geisen like mathematically calculating if he can be 60 feet away from the robot at all times?
Well, he can still cast. I mean, you'd be riding on the back of a bird with it.
Robot, Geisen. No grace.
Robot is on a 60-foot string, held by the talons of the bird.
Yeah, Geisen is kind of calculating what he would do if that abomination exploded near him. But he just kind of keeps it to himself and just gives a nod.
I will also add for travel, he can be disassembled, so we can completely disassemble it and disarm the mechanism so that we're a little more comfortable in normal conversation and certainly travel.
Geisen looks a little bit happier upon hearing.
You're not.
Oh, you're muted. Or I can't hear you, Sanishi. What are you saying?
I'm just freaking out a little bit because, how can this living thing be disassembled? Is it alive or is it not?
It is purely wood, steel, and brass, and some magical components as well, but like I said, it has no sentience. It doesn't act under command. So more or less it's an extension of my thought as opposed to its own.
Sanishi, think of it this way. And Tarnan produces a miniature, in his hand, illusion of Sanishi. Is that really you? Is that really alive? And it starts doing a little dance.
Oh?
No, it's not really you. It's just magic, right? Well, his magic requires certain parts that you can touch and not put your hand through. And Tarnan does so, puts his hand right through it. So it's not really alive. You're not really disassembling a life. You're just taking apart a tool. Maybe a more advanced tool. A tool that requires more magic than perhaps what you're used to. But it's just a tool. Does that help?
Oh. I have to take my flute apart to clean it.
Yeah. Kind of like that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I mean, you could still...
That-
Go ahead.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Thank you, Captain. I feel
Absolutely.
better about this.
So everyone seems to be agreeing and like being happy, and Grella just sort of like thinking and like spinning Sasha gently in the way that a giant great axe can be gently spun. And she does say, I will protect you with my life as I do everyone else here. But these are my family. Iggy trusts you so you can join us, but if you cross us, Tarnan may make you hurt. I will just kill you.
Tarnan's heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Seems fair to me. If I was running with a crew, I would expect nothing less.
How much are your debts? You mentioned you had debts.
My debts, unfortunately, are not always financial in nature, but that does tend to help. From time to time,
Whom do you...
fairly
owe?
rarely, but I may need to be called away for short excursions, let's say.
So it's a contract, not a debt of you owe somebody something specifically. You're not running. You're not expected to show up on demand. It's something that you just have a contract to finish.
I suppose that would be the case. I can say that it may be rare where I may need to depart for a short period of time, but generally I do have a little bit of advance warning when such things happen.
Fair. Would it also be fair for us to know the name of whom you owe this allegiance to, this agreement with?
And they don't happen to be a half-snake woman.
Are there any left? You guys have killed 2.
That can't be in the entire species. Random voice from the universe.
I would say at this point you kind of see Gendrick be like visibly uncomfortable and not really sure how to explain the situation. To be honest, I don't actually know directly the contact. The contact that I have with this person or entity tends to be remotely through a what's the object name? TM? Sorry,
Parchment bird.
a parchment bird. My contact has been exclusively through parchment bird, unfortunately. To be honest, it's something I am trying to get away from, and I don't think that by joining this crew it will be a complete out for me by any means, but I can only see it as a positive to my situation. And I can also promise, in the same way that I promise that no harm will come to you by my hands, this situation I'm involved in will not affect the party, other than myself.
Well, see, that's the trick, because
Grilla sometimes has 2 thoughts and they rub together and they make a little fire. And so she's remembering that she has parchment birds. So she actually does pull one out and go like this and hands you like a blank sheet of paper.
Yes, actually, that's a parchment bird. That seems to be the same format, which I'm familiar with.
Grilla turns to Tarn. Could it be your friend? Do I know that? Actually, does Grilla know that?
No, what? I'm sorry.
Grilla may not. Does Grilla even know that you're familiar with the good neighbors and are like dealing with them in any way, shape, or form, Tarn?
you know of the Good Neighbors because you kind of got a crush on your supplier for hair gel, and
I know, I'm out too. It's really a shame. Anyway.
oh, I wish you would have said something sooner.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but I can totally tell you're just not everything you're was.
So losing that lushness.
I don't see why she wouldn't be aware. Well,
You have talked
Yeah.
about the good neighbors.
so yeah, she's aware.
Yeah. You would know that that Fenton was the head of them and that you guys have helped him and worked with him.
Okay, alright. So I guess I'll leave it up to the group to decide if they want to try and connect any dots to paper birds being.
You do also know the paper birds are not specific to any one entity or organization. I mean, you got the paper birds from the vault.
Yep.
So they're just a magical item that
Okay.
exists in the world. They're not only from a single place or entity.
Okay, thank you. So Grella will take the paper back and put it back in the pack.
Gendrick, let me put it to you this way. If you become a part of our team, which it looks like you very much will be, we're going to start investing a certain amount of trust, expectation, and protective nature toward you. Do you anticipate by our team doing that we may be put in a situation where we have to go against wherever this paper bird goes to? Where we would have to put ourselves on the line for you because of the interest that we have in you against whatever this connection is to the paper bird.
I certainly can't ask that of
We
you.
didn't. Trust me, this crew is not going to give you an option to
Yes,
ask
of
it.
course. Let's just say the contract which I have is only tied directly to myself. It does not affect any others. Only myself and members of my family. Direct family. Blood family.
I'm
We
so.
have all that together, we'll totally become blood family, don't worry.
I'm still comfortable with you coming along, and let's try this out. And if it doesn't work, then so be it. If it does work, then we'll deal with whatever comes. Last chance. Anyone opposed? All in favor? Aye. Okay, you're in.
Excellent. I feel you can take what you need from my workshop or pantry as we already have. I'd be happy to use any of my skills and tools to do any work you may need here. But for the meantime, we can rest and make sure your Dwayne is well rested as well, and we can proceed from there.
How was the dinner, everyone? Do you want seconds, or should I try dessert?
It was amazing. I would love some dessert.
All right, let's see what we got. I'm gonna just go through it, looking for fruits and sugar and whatever else I think I can make into a decent cobbler.
DM, I think you were absent when this happened, by the way.
Oh,
Rather than
that's
actually roll or attempt to cook anything good, Tarnan just put food together and then made it taste better.
Okay.
With cantrips.
Sure.
It's look right here. I can use this to create flavors, consistencies, and smells on up to a cubic foot per casting of
There
food.
you go.
So I mean, it's gonna taste amazing for at least an hour
Just gotta get something else to wash that flavor out of your mouth. Just
beforehand. yeah.
Some Zima. We can all have some of the Zima.
Yeah.
the
In
floral
Swansea.
zima.
Okay, so yeah, Tarna makes a. You want me to roll?
You
to
don't
see
like
if I-
the squirrel cups. I know
If you're
those are
making
kind
it
of a
taste a
local-
certain way, then
Yeah.
Gendrick just if whatever you can find
It's
that Gendrick
amazing.
has
He
there.
uses these old half-dried apples, and they suddenly taste like fresh peaches. It's amazing.
Rilla actually holds one of the squirrel skulls up because it's worn. I mean, clearly this is a cup made for this beverage and not just a random squirrel skull picked up off the leaky floor, one assumes. Otherwise, she surely would not have drunk from it. So can I keep this?
Of course, you could keep this. As far as I'm, it worthless to me. The squirrel skulls are more of a local thing. You know, if anyone here is uncomfortable drinking out of a squirrel skull, I could certainly fasten a cup out of copper or something quite quickly in the workshop there.
That would be much
Safety
preferred.
literally falls off from here back into that.
DM, is there an official item that I should add to my pack for the squirrel skull cup?
Squirrel,
You-
one each.
No. Do add it as a note, Zima squirrel skull. So everybody will know never be a question on what it is. We can come back to this skull in a year, and as soon as you say, "Why do I have a Zima squirrel skull?" everybody will remember what it means.
I love this group.
So speaking of items that were required in here, my monocle, I assume it was 10 charges of darkfish, right? Is that what you said?
Correct. 10 charges.
And they
The
last an
charge
hour
lasts
each?
8 hours.
8 hours. There you go.
So, we're down in the, all right, cool. Just want to make sure I have that marked correctly.
Also, it is 9 o'clock. Our cats are going a little nuts for a little treat
All
time.
right. Well, we were getting to the point where I was going to ask you guys if you guys were ready to sleep for the night. In which case, it's been about an hour and 20 minutes that we've been doing this live. So I was figuring now would probably be a good time for a real world break.
Okay, but I get to sleep on top.
Yeah, I got nothing else to discuss this evening.
Okay, then we'll take real world 10, 15, whatever, and then when we come back will be when you awake from your rest.
Before going to bed, Grilda will seek assistance from her bear spirit, Greg.
Okay.
And just check to see that, everything seems fine before she goes to bed.
Oh, I forgot all about Greg.
Greg the bear.
Greg the bear.
So are you checking for? What are you checking for exactly? Because I know there's a you have to pick between.
I mean, she's kind of looking for anything wrong, and she's not in a.
She's not in a city, so I know it's not a blank spot for her.
Yeah,
I know there's.
Danger. How many things? I can do 3 facts of your choice about any of the following. Are there any dangerous animals, peoples, or powerful... What would she think? I guess she'd actually check for the dragon, too. Just because nobody's seen it doesn't mean it's not there. So she'd look to see if there was a dragon in the area or anything along that lines, or how the animals were reacting, because that's usually a good sign of something being moved.
No dragon. So, God, I want to do like a goofy voice for Greg, but no. There's no dragon, and the animals seem to be relatively fine. Although you do notice a severe lack of squirrels.
That is the best reaction to this spell we've ever had. I love that. All right.
So we will take 5, and then come back.
I have to go all the way down the stairs twice in order to get the dog.
All right, so okay, so everybody has a long rest.
Yay!
I don't think you need to mark it off because I don't know if anybody really did anything since the last long rest that would necessitate that.
I used a shit ton of cantrips.
Heavily.
Well, and that comes with another level up, right?
Level down? What?
No, there was lots of shit ton. There was a shit ton of cantrips used. That's a good thing, isn't it?
Sure.
Okay.
Acquiring Gendrick seems like a hell of a milestone.
That does. Our party is increased by 15%.
It does. Then to make sure that the game scales correctly, everybody should half their level so that the challenge stays the same.
Okay, so we only get a half a level, but that still rounds up to okay, we're good. So
well, actually, D&D rounds down, so a half level is no level.
If we're paying half a level, the us who are dual spec can level up our lower spec.
Level down? What? All right, so
No.
everybody
Wait.
wakes up inside
I
of
really
this.
want to briefly say how much thought it must have taken you to assume that not only would we fly, Dwayne, in a straight line to this little island, but also that we would choose the hut over the village. That's very. I'm glad we did it, but I hope you had alternative plans.
he was on a
I always know. I told you, I always know what's going to happen.
he was on a fishing trip.
I
He was at a
I
supply
can always
run.
make up what is going to happen.
We would have landed in the village, and Icky would have gone. I know that guy over there at the shop picking stuff up
Buying
randomly,
Buying Zima.
buying Zima.
Why is that man buying squirrel skulls? I don't understand. All right, so inside of the artificer's hut, everybody wakes up from your long rest. It is, let's say, it's probably about 6 in the morning. The sun hasn't. What was that?
Never mind.
The sun has not quite started to rise yet, since it is getting into late autumn. You know that sunrise is probably for the next half hour, but everybody does wake up at about 6 o'clock.
I offer the breakfast of champions to all of my compatriots, that being some beer.
Icky is well aware of how important meal breakfast is and partakes deeply.
Is it the cinnamon bear?
Is there any blood sausage?
No, the cinnamon beer is for special occasions only, so this is just one of her regular beers.
So Tarnan uses his cantrip to try to make his beer taste like cinnamon beer.
Dear?
Sure.
Hey, try this, Grilda.
I felt like we produced the beer that she handed you. Pulls it over. Does it also smell like the cinnamon beer, or does it only taste like it?
Cantrip number 2. It does now.
It does now. So she smelled it, and at first it's the same beer, and she's like, okay. And then a waft of cinnamon.
Did I get it right?
And she looks at you,
Did I get it right?
and she tastes it. Did he get it right, DM? Can he get it like pinpoint accuracy?
Sorry, I'm reading the spell. Hold on a second.
Okay, alright.
Okay, 3 hours later.
Look, the beer stuff is really important to my character, y'all.
Why don't
Oh shit.
give me
A memory check. What is it supposed to taste like?
No, give
A perception
me
check. Do I know what it tastes like?
performance. On our
I like performance better. Say that one.
No, an
Say that
arcana.
one. Son of a
Give me an
bitch.
arcana check because you're trying to use the spell to replicate a flavor that you have tried
Why
in
do you
the
hate me?
past.
Yeah, but it's my memory of the flavor that's going into
That
the
doesn't, but
cantrip.
that doesn't mean
Oh.
it's going to taste exactly the way it would have tasted. So I'm trying to
Yeah,
see how
honestly,
well
if we're
you can put
making
your
it taste like
memory
your
into
memory,
the spell.
It will never be perfect.
17.
17?
Yeah,
It
15
is.
plus 2.
The only reason you can tell it's not the same beer, Grelda, like
It's
it's only because of
knows.
how developed your palate is to beer and the fact that it was your beer. If it would have been anybody else that you gave it to, they wouldn't have been able to tell the difference. Grelda only can just a little after like really paying attention. But it is a very good facsimile.
She'll hand it back and say, very impressive.
It's still
How long does
cheating.
that last?
Like an hour.
Okay. She looks visibly relieved to hear that you can't just make beer taste like her beer forever.
No, it's not. This is not the real thing. It's like a tide me over until my favorite brewer can actually make more for me.
Grelda like almost giggles and then just like passes him a skin of the cinnamon beer for like later.
You had. Well, why am I drinking? Here, hide the rest of it just in case.
There's not much left. It was a very small keg.
Oh,
If he's
There.
on Arnon dunk beer, he's visibly horrified.
oh, Icky! I just learned a new trick. This here, watch this. Go get that water over there.
The trust is broken.
Shit. This is where Icky learns to stab Tarnin in the back. Okay.
Next time, and you'll find that you just stabbed Icky in the back.
Not intentionally. I kind of tossed it over my shoulder and it just landed on him. Clearly, he can now drink whatever he wants and ask. All he's got to do is tell me what he wants to taste like, and as long as it's within my palate memory, I could probably reproduce it for him. Probably.
But it won't have the alcoholic effect. It will simply taste like the alcohol.
Yeah. Can we really have a drunken monk if he's not drunk?
Well, that was going to be the experiment, but clearly now that's not going to happen because he's right there listening to us talk about him.
Oh. Sorry, Captain.
No worries. Let's go kill a purple-robed bitch.
Let's do that.
So while they're doing all this, Geisen uses his thing to write a scroll for Misty stuff. He has that class thing where you can make one scroll a day.
That's
Too good.
Does that say that cancels your need to roll for it? Now I gotta remember.
Roll for making a scroll?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Or is that copying spells?
It's under Master Scrivener.
Finish the long rest, create one magic scroll. Which is okay. A wizard spell on a spell scroll Oh no, that's from a spell scroll to a spell book. Never mind. So yes, you piece of parchment.
In the pear tree.
All right, then. Yep. Mark off that create spell, and just make sure you have annotated that's what the spell is, because I won't remember. Yes. Lee, I do my best to remind everybody of their skills and abilities, but if you forget and I forget, then yeah, sorry.
Shit didn't happen.
Yep. All right, so you have your small spell scroll tucked away under your giant hat. You lift it up and stand it up and put your hat on it.
And I'm just kind of spending the morning packing up loose bits in the house and maybe prepping the R2 unit for travel.
Between this session and next session, you need a better name than R2 unit.
Yeah, we're gonna get sued just for having it on YouTube.
The name is up for debate. Or
R2 unit?
R? R7?
Yeah, if there's actual alcohol
R7.
inside or exactly R to unit. Yes.
Our 7? Our 7 unit? Our 7th unit?
Alright, so is there anything anybody would like to do before you end up climbing on the rack?
Jason's also going to cast Portent, because I haven't done that for a long time. I don't forget.
Alright, roll your 2d20s and tell me what you get.
15 and 17.
Okay. Alright, Icky, were you going to say something?
No, I was gonna figure out would Icky know whether or not they could make it now to Hollow Mountain in one more trip?
You would know that even with the additional weight, you would be able to make it there in one trip.
Lynn's very excited. We're moving at half speed, just so you know.
So I guess we need to figure out where the next stop is. Huh? Are we going right to the cave? There's well, let me check with the DM. Would Icky expect that if they went directly to Hollow Mountain, they would likely how likely would it be that they would run into an Aarakocra just kind of like scouting, doing their normal Aarakocra thing?
Oh, bro.
See, I'm sorry, Tammy, you were doing that, and a bird was chirping in the background of the ambient music, so it was chirping as you were kind of going inside. Sorry. I would, you know that they do, it's basically the occasional patrol, practicing flying combat, but it's not an all the time. It's not a military base. You don't have a roving aerial patrol. So there's a chance, probably less than 50-50, that you would run into somebody. You would need to hit on an exercise, like we're gonna go practice fighting while flying, or hey, we're just gonna go fly around because we're Aarakocra and we have wings and we like it. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
That would be it. So there's a chance, but it's not a likely chance.
Lucky.
I also did not see Sean roll a dice just then, so
For what?
I don't know. The chance that we run into a random Aarakocra, perhaps.
Well, you haven't told me what you're gonna do yet.
Fly.
Alright, so you are currently flying in the general direction. You were just deciding on where you would like Dwayne to head.
So, do we want to I'm torn, guys. I feel like we. If I don't have to go home, I shouldn't. Crap. Hang on. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry, cat getting up in a place they ought not. Yeah. I don't want to have to go back if I don't have to, but I feel like we should warn them about the Ascended, but but we should also go try to get the scales as quickly as possible, right? I don't.
A fist emerges from the Dwarfrito, holding a single sheet of paper.
Flapping madly in the wind. What's on that sheet of paper again?
I don't know.
Nothing. It's one of the ones where we can magically tell it where to go and it will go there.
Oh, that's right.
Right. So we can warn them about going there. It's a great idea, Grelda. I mean, it's a great idea, Grelda.
The fist around the paper turns upwards with the thumbs up.
And goes back into the little...
Nice.
Alright, well,
back into the cocoon of solitude. Icky, if you want to warn them, land us and we'll warn them. You can stay with the bird just on the outskirts of town. If you don't want to go in, I'll warn them. I'll let them know, and then we'll be back on our way. If you want to warn them after, we can warn them after. If you want to skip it entirely, I'm happy to go find the purple robe bitch and kill him now.
I don't know if he's already been there.
We don't know. What's your best guess? What would you prefer? Or do you want me to just take it out of your hands and decide for us?
I can't make this decision. I want to we need to warn them somehow, but I don't.
But we need to warn them covertly. Is that the objective?
Well, yes, if we can warn them, but I don't I was banished. You know, I don't want to. I shouldn't go back.
I was gonna say skywriting might be a little too aggressive. Then I assume. Perhaps we could make this rock invisible. Maybe we can stealth our way in.
You can do that?
Oh, anyone who knows the invisibility spell would be able to do such a thing.
Good point.
To
Let
a
me
willing
reiterate.
character.
You can do that?
I can, as long as the DM allows me to use an unprepared spell out of combat.
That takes 10
Because I have not prepared it.
No, it takes a long rest.
Okay.
Do you only prepare
I'm
the
gonna
wizards?
email.
Different
Wizards
cast-
and magic
Yep.
users
Yep.
prepare spells during long rests.
Yep.
Yes, but okay, if someone had the ability to cast invisibility, which I currently do not possess.
Okay, so that's not an option at the moment.
I can enlarge the rock if we wanted to, but I don't think that would help. In this
Make Dwayne bigger.
Which would
And
make us
also-
faster.
Send a message through an animal. I mean, I know there's no squirrels around, but on like a bird or something. You can send a bird to go send a message. And it could replicate Iggy's voice if that's helpful, or someone else's voice.
I think that if we send a paper bird to them, I think that will that'll be enough warning. But yeah, let's do that. Let's send them a bird warning them of a possible dragon attack from a purple robed bitch.
Two fists emerge in like a victory salute from the Dwarfrito, like, an idea that I had, we're doing! And then they descend back into the Dwarfrito.
Before they descend back into the Dwarfrito, Tarnan takes the paper bird thing from the hands, hands it to Icky, and says, "Write it up, or speak it out."
That was officially the last one in Grelda's possession, by the way. I think we had split them up at one point. So
You did,
I know
yes.
where
They did get split up.
I don't know that it should come from me.
This is all coming from random.
Any message from me out of hand. Somebody said something. I thought I was talking.
You said something.
They know Gendrick. Have Gendrick send it. Gendrick, you're familiar with how to use these. Send the message that the village would take seriously to be on guard for a potential attack from a dragon or a purple-robed deceiver. Purple-robed, villainous deceiver. I'm going to stop now before I get on a roll.
Writing the message. Okay, I think we have the message. There's a few officials in town that know of me, so if we get it to the constable or some authority there, they should know. I've helped out a few folks in town over the years.
You have to speak the creature's name, just so you know.
So here, hang on a second.
Sorry. We've used them a couple of times, but I wanted to reread the actual verbiage on it.
Verbiage.
What's the spell or ability that we're doing?
It is, I think it's called Paper Bird, is the...
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the name you're going to want to speak is Ashara. This needs to go to Ashara.
Fair enough. So I'm going to say this message is for Ashara, and then of course we have the message written down with the general gist of the situation,
Okay.
urging extreme alarm and immediate preparations are to begin. Signed, Gendrick, the artificer, and I guess we send the bird. Throw that thing. No?
Okay, the parchment bird does take off and then slowly fall behind as it goes nowhere near as fast as Dwayne does. So it basically is like the wind catches it. It goes whoop, whoosh. And you know it'll get there eventually, but it's way back there.
All right. Well, I guess on to Hollow Mountain then, eh?
Okay.
All right.
I'm excited to see this through. At the same time, I'm pissed off for involving all of you.
There we go. All right. Then, in that case...
Regardless of what happens, just in case I haven't said it before, thank you all for having my back on this one.
Of course, and likewise.
Sorry, a single hand emerges from the dwarf reader. Like, pats you on the back.
Makes a patting motion in the general area. Tarnum just kind of rolls his back into the general area. Just okay, there.
Well, God, the dwarf burrito really needs its own icon, Sean.
I think it might. I will write it down, and I will find some small creature wrapped in a blanket burrito.
The dwarf burrito.
Dwarf burrito.
It's terribly comfortable. I think everyone will be traveling this way in the future.
All right. So, as you let the paper bird go, and Dwayne kind of banks to the west and goes wide around. You climb above the lush expanse of Ravenrake Island. You see Hollow Mountain looming in front of you. Climbing up, the wind rushes past your face, and you see the destination come into view. On a sheer side of the mountain, a opening becomes clear. It's about 15 feet wide, and disappears into complete darkness.
Is it big enough for
Dwayne the
for
Rock
Dwayne?
Johnson?
No.
Okay. Is there anywhere around the cave that Dwayne could land, that where we could make our way to the cave?
No,
Or
it's on a sheer side.
Oh, where you said
I'm terribly sorry. You hear a tiny voice emerge. Toss me.
Torn immediately says, "Hell no! You don't get to go first on this one."
Can hold position, right? So can we just put Dwayne up to the opening and then hop off Dwayne into the...
Basically. Have him hover as best he can.
Okay, I'm sorry, but you all have to share this with me. The only actual bird in nature that can hover is the hummingbird.
Is the hummingbird, yes.
So Dwayne now looks completely different to me.
But I will say, with the way D&D rules work, like Icky, he can fly, and if he ends his turn in the air, the rules say he hovers.
He now also looks completely different to me.
Yeah.
Icky is a giant hummingbird.
That totally ruins his character for me. I can't
No,
play
it
with
explains
that.
all the sugar usage in like the beer. It works.
It does. It does. Actually.
No.
Wow.
Oh well.
Alright, so I guess we'll just like have Dwayne go up to the mouth of the cave. Like, do we want to like just everyone hop in to the cave, and then I'll have Dwayne just kind of like circling out here waiting for us?
Or land him up top where he's comfortable somewhere nearby.
I think landing him might be better, so we got.
Well, I mean, I suppose it depends on how the inside of this cave looks. If we can just walk out to a ledge and be like, "Hey, Dwayne, get yourself down here, buddy." Does that look like it would be a viable solution?
If you hopped off Dwayne, and you... Because you can't...
I mean, we don't
You
have the benefit.
could before you hopped off Dwayne, you would basically just tell him to come back and check the the cave entrance every hour or something like that. Because you can't.
Can you give us more detail, since we don't have a picture to stare at? Give us more detail on this. This opening is on the side of a freaking mountain.
Yes.
On a sheer drop.
Yes.
How far up is it?
It is approximately 650 feet off the ground.
How
the
far-
sheer spot is about 120 feet of just sheer mountainside.
How far up is it?
Right about the middle. So it's about 60 feet of sheer mountain, basically on all sides. It's kind of flat holes right in the middle.
From his memory, what would Icky know the entryway on the inside of the cave is like?
It stays about that 10 to 15 feet range, and it seems to be a natural formation. It goes straight in, I would say about 50 feet, and then curves immediately 90 degrees to the right for about 30 feet, and then that's where your pool of angry water was.
So at the very least, like the ground of the cave, it meets the edge of the hole? Or
Yes.
is it? Okay.
Yeah, you have the hole, and then it's basically just flat straight
Okay.
from that inside.
So if you would communicate that so everybody else has that expectation. And then, yeah, I guess we'll just...
Is it well? Hold on a second. Would it be easier, from Tarna's point of view, for us to land on top and just drop a rope down? You're saying it's 120 feet of sheer,
Mm-hmm.
a 60-foot hole in the middle, right? Okay, so that's 45 feet. No, what is it?
That's 60 feet.
That's 60 feet of sheer that they'd have to rope down.
Mm-hmm.
Above that, just above that 60 feet, is there a place where Dwayne could land? You rolled it wrong. Do it again.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Yes. It's going to be perilous. It's not going to be easy. It's not like it flattens out and you have a nice spot to stick. It's
But
still,
that's a lot closer than the 300 feet climb up.
if you're going to climb, yes.
So, Icky, how do you feel about landing above it and roping down with you being ready to catch in case one of us slips?
I feel like it's possible, but why not just hop off Dwayne?
What's the benefit of that over just going directly to the door?
Yeah.
Having a rope there, having another means in case Dwayne is not readily available and we have to get out in a hurry. That's the only... We're kind of committing to the point where we can't get out in a hurry.
Well, so Dwayne, could he just like
That's gonna eat up your
if he
distance.
just circled? That would be we'd have to figure out the time, like his allotted time in the air that he could do that. Yeah.
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 But if he can fly up to get him,
Yeah,
Yeah.
60 feet is not a far
Yeah,
away.
let's just do it. We'll do that. Like, guys, we'll just jump into the cave here. I'll send Dwayne to perch as close to the mouth of this cave as he can. And if we need to leave in a hurry, I'll fly ahead of everybody and go and get him and bring him down. Sound good?
That meets my intent, yeah.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. So,
Execute.
Dwayne does fly right next to the mouth of the cave, kind of turns so everybody, it's as close as he can get, still flapping his wings to hover like a hummingbird. And one after another, well, for a couple, I will say Icky flies off and lands, and then Sanishi picks up the dwarf Rito, tosses it to Icky, who catches it, and then the rest of you, one at a time, make the jump.
I gracefully do a nice little tumble and roll and land in there.
Do you want me to make you roll that? No.
Sure.
You roll a 1 and fall off the mountain and die.
Well, no, you're gonna let me roll it, not just assume I roll a 1, right? I get to
No,
at least
you don't have to.
I get to at least try not to roll a 1.
All right. So yes, you all stand in the mouth of this cave.
Icky will
Roll the 29.
tap the side of his handy dandy dark vision monocle.
Boing! Tarnan puts his coin away, looking dejected and sad.
For you were so bothered about the stealth.
Yeah, I just
Now-
got used to
now
I
you
just,
can- Now you can be stealthy, Tarnan.
I know, I just got used to doing that for you, you know? It's like there's only so much I can really contribute here, and you just kind of took one. But whatever, it's all good. I'm gonna go stealth away now. Bye. And suddenly Tarnan's gone. Stealthing away. Into the hole.
So you're going by yourself?
Yeah. Unless they stop.
Icky will follow behind,
Stealthily.
quietly,
Well,
but
I'll get under.
at a distance, letting Tarnan do his scouting ahead thing.
I'll send Ollivander along too, so I can kind of keep an eye on what's happening.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
Grilda turns to Gendrick and is like, do you need time to put friends back together?
Not much. Maybe a minute or two here. I'll slap the wheels back on him, and I'm gonna send him kind of towards the front, but I'm gonna stay in the back where it's safe.
All right.
Are you saying it's not safe in the front?
I'm not safe personally in the front. I don't really like getting into direct physical altercations. I kind of let the my little friend here do that for me.
29.
29. Okay.
Well, we're not that close yet, buddy.
Oh no, I was talking to my R2 unit. Sorry. Nice.
Okay. I'm sorry. The name of the episode is My Little Friend Here.
That was good.
Say hello to my little friend.
No, because he specifically said My Little Friend Here.
Like,
All right. So Tarnan moves away. Stealthily, not a sound made. Ollivander follows after him. Give me a stealth roll for Ollivander.
Son of a
Lars?
biscuit.
I mean, I can. He would be far enough back that Like he's letting Tarnan do the scouting.
Okay.
He's just keeping an eye on Tarnan.
All right. Well, in that case, the cave tunnel, like as you stealth away, it is it appears to be a naturally formed cave tunnel. The ceiling and the walls are just like jagged rock. It doesn't seem to be man-made at all. It runs and then takes a sharp right, and after 30 feet to the right, it reveals a 15-foot wide opening, and the walls and the ceiling change. It goes from the jagged rock to very smooth. And where in the middle there is a low, almost unassuming stone pool in the middle of the room.
No presence, no people, no signs of activity,
Nope.
no sounds.
No sound. Give me a perception check.
I perceive poorly, but it comes out to be a total of 11.
11? Nothing that you can hear?
Penny, can you remind me your bear spirit thing? Does that take like a long time to consult?
It's 10 minutes, yeah.
Well, like, so could we use the bear spirit to find out if there are like life forms in the cave? Or I don't remember exactly.
We could, as long as it's not considered a city.
Pretty safe it's not.
And as long as everyone is willing to wait long enough for me to do that for 10 minutes. Question, is Geisen doing, we've done this in the past where Geisen actually had a hand on Grelda's shoulder and was like relaying what Ollivander found.
I just make that assumption now that whenever you send Ollivander out, you have your hand on someone's shoulder.
My shoulder is the easiest for him to reach.
Yeah, this is the most convenient.
It must be lighting up.
Seeing nothing, I will message back to Geisen. Looks pretty clear down here. Bring everybody up, please.
I relay that. We head up.
Do you out loud ask if we want to do the bear spirit thing, or are you just asking for curiosity?
Well, I was asking out of character, but I guess you guys said once we catch up with Tarnan, I would bring it up to Tarnan. Like, do we want to use this ability to try to look for enemies that might be hiding here before we have them on them?
You can do that message before we got there, or while we're on our way there if you wanted.
Oh yeah, I have a message. So yeah, okay. I'll message that idea to Tarnan as he's scouting.
I think it's a 3-mile radius.
Is it fair?
I think that was what you said before, yeah.
Sounds right. Let me check.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's 11 minutes. Let's just not do it then.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
10 is fine. 11, nope.
that's too much.
That-
That's,
that-
In caves and
that's
underground settings, the radius is limited to 300 feet. So this is definitely a cave, so yeah.
Okay, and what are you checking for?
I don't know yet. I don't even know that I am checking.
Okay. But it's 300 feet inside of the cave system.
Yes. Bears move slowly through the leaves.
they tend to hibernate in caves, so maybe that's, I mean, they get sleepy and distracted.
Yeah, Greg gets tired.
Yeah,
He gets tired.
yeah, that's yeah. I messaged back. How serious is she about doing that? It's going to take time to do it, and we're already here. Does she seem like she's really serious
At
about
this point, I would say it's Geisen's half. Should we do it? Unless Rock and I want to do it, let's do it.
Yeah, so I relay that. Like, it really is my idea. She's perfectly willing to do it. But it's just an idea. If we want to try to do it without stumbling into an ambush or something. But maybe your stealthy scouting is enough.
Ambushes.
Appeal to his pride.
I'm trying not to be too emotionally compromised here. However, I think we're already here and we need to just push forward. I mean, I don't want to discount your idea, but 10 minutes? I don't know. I am very conflicted. I want to go find this son of a bitch right now. So you tell me, Lieutenant, I know that I'm compromised in this decision. Do we need to stop and do that, or can we push forward?
Well, we definitely don't need to. Do we want to, I guess, is the question. It took us a couple of days to get here, right? What's
about a day and a half, yeah.
that?
It's that 10 minutes more. That's what it is. It's more time that this fuck gets ahead of us.
We can send R7 in first in case anything bad happens to it. I just want that option to be out there always, just saying.
The other option is I can send Oliver to scout, but, that's not always gone so well in the past.
Drunken bird.
Okay. So we're looking at this cavern, and there's a pool, and I'm near the pool. Are there any other entrances that Tarnan sees right now?
No. It is just a room, the pool, and then the cavern you came from.
I'll tell you what.
While this conversation is happening, are we moving toward, are we joining Tarnan?
Are you?
I would assume so. I don't know if we know what the conversation is even happening.
I think I initiated the conversation while he was on his way to that room.
Okay.
Well, by now he's probably found the room, so I guess we'd be deciding now if we're going to be moving up. I guess we might as well.
Because Geralda's first question to you would definitely be, is this the angry one? What?
Like, he would just be like, looking very, like stone-faced, just like.
So hold on. Where you are you? Is everybody else in the room now?
Moving toward it anyway.
He wouldn't go in yet. He'd be like right before you get to that like smooth area. He would be like, he would stop at the threshold and be like, yeah, if that's. So if we were having this conversation while we were moving and we get to that point, he would totally stop and just be like, yep, this is where it is. Like this is the place. And if we have made it to that point, Icky would pretty much be doing anything in his power. He'd be looking at anything except that room, and as such would be studying the area really closely, wondering like. So I guess like I'd want to percept at the area, specifically looking for if there are any signs somebody's been there recently.
Give me a perception check. And then Tarnan, how far into this room did you go?
If I'm stealth, then I will continue to go all the way around it because I'm looking for other entrances, signs of recent passage, and screw it. Let's go as far as soon as I start talking about spending 10 minutes, Tarnan starts looking around for secret passages, secret doors, touching, feeling, moving around, traps, whatever. He's if they're talking about spending 10 minutes, then Tarnan's already in the mindset of I might as well start taking steps.
Okay. First, give me an investigation check, and then what did you get, Icky?
Icky up here. He's so stressed out. He's not feeling very perceptive. He rolled a 7.
7. All you can hear, you're too focused on your own body shaking. You do notice that while you hear your own group's movements, you don't hear the bubbling that you did before from the water. And then Tarnan, as you're walking around and you get close to the stone pool, you do it's very dark. It's not like the angry water you've seen before. And as you kind of look over the edge, you see that that's because there is no water. You instead of the water, you instead see a set of circular stairs that go downward into the darkness.
Big.
Interesting. I rolled a 15 if that's anything you wanted to know.
All right. Other than that, if you were searching the walls, you would not notice anything.
Okay. message directly to Icky, not the rest of the group. Hey, you didn't mention anything about this pool having stairs going down.
So Icky would react pretty much exactly the way I just did. Just go, like there'd be a brief pause and fuck. And he big deep breath, and then just like head down, walk straight towards Tarnan, and meet him at the edge to look down.
Okay.
Tarnan is still looking down the stairs, watching and listening while his troop approaches.
You don't hear anything, and it is a circular staircase, so you can see only to a certain point, and then the stairs begin to block themselves.
Yep. So Tarnan waits till everyone shows up. Assuming they all show up.
Icky would be like he's trying to process what he's seeing here, and like, can anybody tell how long it's been dry? And he'd be trying to figure this out himself, but he's aware that his senses are somewhat compromised right now.
Anybody who looks down into the staircase would see that it is still. Don't want to use the word slick. It is still. It has the sheen of being wet. So it is not completely dry. It's not running water, but it is not dry either.
Yeah, last I was here, this was full of bubbling, angry water.
I assume. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So there's like, it makes sense. The scales are hidden here. Well, of course they're.
Tarnan walks up to Icky, puts a comforting hand on his shoulder. I got this. And starts going down the stairs as stealthily as possible.
Sorry. Okay. All right, so Tarnan begins to head down. What is everybody else doing this one?
I'm gonna wait a little bit and follow.
That's
So
my girl.
kind of do the same thing and send Ollivander to, like, behind the watch.
And Grelda, when Geisen is doing the Ollivander things, tends to hang back a little bit. Icky, what position are you taking in your downward travels?
Missionary.
Icky would probably stick back with the Geist and Grelda. Just kind of like saying to himself, like, oh, well, I gotta help watch out for these two. But really just like he doesn't want to go any deeper, but knows he has to.
So Grelda, since you're right there, would reach out. Do you have hands?
He's got flippers.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Reaches out for a claw, up for a claw because you're very tall. And just says, "We're here for you. We got this." And hands you beer. It's the only way she knows to comfort anyone. So have some beer.
It's like one of the prime ways of comforting Icky, so bonus. So Icky, takes your hand in his claw and cheers and sips and on we go.
Do I
I
notice?
pick up R7 by the side struts because it can't do stairs.
Do I notice Ollivander?
Is Ollivander following?
That's what I thought he was saying.
If Ollivander's following, you would know.
Then I message back to Geisen, hey, just have him land on my shoulder, less flapping around, and I can use the extra set of eyes while he swivels around and uses his full movement.
Sounds good.
And then if I get dead, he's right there to see it, and you can report to everyone immediately what happened. Haha.
Do you report that back to Grelda?
No. This is a message back and forth only to Lieutenant Geisen. He's the only one who's going to see it.
Lieutenant Geisen report this to the group.
Oh shit. I mean Auschwitz. Auschwitz.
Report to the group that I'm changing what Ollivander's doing.
No, that Geisen is planning on dying.
No, not Geisen.
I'm sorry, that Tarnan's planning on dying.
Turner's not planning on it.
Well, you have plans for if you die. That is close enough.
I mean,
Knowing how sensitive Grilda might be about that, he just keeps it to himself.
Alright, so Grella has no reactions whatsoever.
I mean, realistically, Tarnan has plans for everyone to die. At some point. Just not this moment. Just, I mean... Anyway.
It's a little diabolical. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. Yeah.
I think canonically Batman has plans for, like, if anyone in the league goes bad, so I think this
How
is
to kill
appropriate.
him.
Yeah.
But now I have to remodify all of those plans because there's a sixth in the group now. 7 if we count. 8 if we count. 9 if we count. Fucking Ollivander. It's gonna be the undoing of the whole plan. Down he goes.
Working for Purple Coat all along.
That's not funny.
All right, so as
Nishi or Grella at someone.
as Tarnan begins to make his way down, the stairs circle downwards for over 100 feet. It is a cramped stairway that is on. It's almost a natural quality to it as it begins. It's not complete. The stairs aren't completely smooth. They seem to be partially naturally formed and partially carved out. But as you, and the walls of the cave are slick with moisture, so you can tell. Again, it's not dry, but it's not dripping.
So Tarnan is repeating. I'm about 100 feet. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, 100 feet is kind of a long time, right? As far as, like, tiptoeing
If you're stealthily
carrying
moving, it's
robot.
going to take you a while.
Yeah.
Can it's never gonna work. I'm gonna keep trying, but it's never gonna work. I would like to use my stone cunning to look at these weird stone steps while I'm walking down
Mhm.
and see what I can figure out from the history skill to figure out the origin of the stonework.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. Like, hey, you should try really hard at that check. And this, for some reason, is going to give you, with one of my reactions, flash of genius. So add a +5 to that roll.
Holy shiza.
You would probably have done better to simply assist me in my checking because my
If you're using your stonecutter ability, he would not be
have
able
that.
to assist you because that is something innate to you as a dwarf.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No,
you're
you
good.
so Lee, you can use that flash of genius to help her. I'm just letting I'm just letting Tammy know that you couldn't use the help action to give her advantage on this roll because this is a dwarf specific skill.
Yeah.
Alright, so what I get is double my proficiency bonus to the check for a history check, which I have -1 to. I don't know what my proficiency bonus is to that. How do I see that?
Your proficiency bonus should be a 4.
A 4? Okay, so I get
Plus
+8
+5.
to...
+8,
Five.
+5 for the flash of genius.
Oh, okay. Oh, well that's hopefully gonna be great. I'm just gonna roll this and we'll see what happens. That was 10. That's 11 minus 1 for the 10.
Okay.
And then
Plus
Plus
8 is
8 plus
18, plus 5 is 23.
okay.
Ooh,
I'm real
hiss.
smart about these stairs, y'all.
You can tell. So I'm sorry. What it just tells you the history of the stone cutting, or
It is an intelligence history check related to the origin of the stonework.
as you begin to descend, nothing really stands out to you about it. But the further and further you get down, the more and more you just get this strange feeling of familiarity. And as you reach the last 25 feet, it becomes increasingly obvious to you that this is the same kind of stone cutting work that was in
Old light.
below Sandpoint.
Old light.
Okay.
Old
So-
Light, the catacombs below, the glassworks, all of that.
Okay, so as we go lower, like briefly we'll go and then the lower we get, her hmms turn more irritating and more like I would like your attention, please. And so finally, by the time she has actually something to say, potentially Geisen and now also Gendrick might be like, yes.
Geisen's intent on Ollivander still, right? So
Okay.
Does her
So would
Not really
Gendrick ask anything about these?
I would
very
assume so.
irritating-
You're in a cramped stairwell. I think things
She
will
gets
echo.
a direct. Suddenly, Tarnin's voice is in your head. Holy crap! I can hear your all the way down here. What is it? You can respond to this message.
Yeah, Gendrick uses stone tools, so he's familiar with stone shaping, but nothing about. He doesn't have the context for.
So, I'm just going to remind you of something that happened in the last, just you know, in character, just or out of character as a reminder. Grilla doesn't know how to respond to message quietly.
Oh my god.
You
So if you
whispered.
would like to modify your message to include instructions to her as to how to respond quietly, that might be something that your in character would do.
Yes, he definitely does.
Okay.
You can respond by whispering, and only I will hear what you are whispering to me.
Okay. Grilla stops moving entirely. So no, we're not moving down. She's just like concentrating really hard on just whispering this response. She still whispers it loudly enough that Geisen can hear it.
Nope,
Well,
the spell doesn't work that
always-
way.
So
You
so
literally whisper, and no one else can hear it.
I thought other people could hear it because it was an audible whisper.
Nope. It's-
Okay, alright. Well, then her mouth is moving, and Gendrick has dark vision and can probably see that. But she does repeat, this is the same exact kind of stonework that we've seen in all of these other places that we've been.
Interesting point. Make sure everyone else knows that they can't hear the whisper when you reply to me.
Very nicely done. So she stops, and then tries whispering normally, so that I guess Gendrick and potentially also Icky, I guess would be close enough, could hear it. That's what's going on. But I guess Geisen, there's no way that you would know that from where we are. And I don't think Sinishi would care. Sinishi would be like, it's rocks.
Does Tarnin think about Geisen? No. Sorry.
Okay. Message relayed. And now we can continue moving. And Geisen is probably like, I don't know what's going on back there with my body, but sure things are fine.
Is Geisen at the top of the stairs guiding the familiar down, or?
He has his hand
He's
on
gonna be-
Grelda's shoulder.
Yeah. So I'm basically moving him.
Yeah, he is deaf and blind, but he
But
can
his-
still feel.
His familiar is my backup. Literally watching my back right now.
Alright.
Guess we should have called ourselves the Sandpoint Owls.
Alright, so as you get to the bottom of the stairs, the workmanship of the tunnels is distinctly different from that of the tunnel you pass through as the gradual change from natural cavern to workstone is finally complete after the long spiraling descent into the depths. Where the walls meet, hard angles have been polished away to smooth but tight arcs that somewhat soften to the transition from wall to wall or to ceiling or to floor. The ceiling smooth sits 20 feet above your heads. The air has a stale quality to it, as though it has been undisturbed for an extremely long time.
Is it dry now? Down here?
Down here it is, yes. As soon as you step off of the stairs, it doesn't have the same slick feeling that it did before.
Well, now Tarnin says, Huh. He messages.
Grilla can't actually use message, but she doesn't actually understand how it works. So she attempts to use the same like silent whisper to tell Tarnin that she can hear him coming.
Which, of course, Tarnin hears because she's whispering it out loud. Thankfully, she's not there to see him roll his eyes like this. And he continues on and then messages to Geisen would already see it. He's right there. So he messages to Grelda. Hey, the stone changes a lot down here and it's suddenly dry. I'm moving cautiously forward. Respond back to me when you get to the bottom of the stairs so I know where you're at.
Alright, so at this point, it is 10:30 on a Thursday. I don't know how much longer you guys want to go.
30 minutes tops.
Yeah, I would agree with that assessment.
Okay, I might be a terrible person and just say this would be a good place to... I will say I won't be a terrible
because
person.
bad guys
Knowing
run
what
around the
is
corner.
knowing what I know, this is probably a good place to stop. Because I don't think in a half hour anybody's going to be happy to stop. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, like I said, the bad guy's right around that corner, right there.
Well, if only someone had 11 minutes to spare, perhaps we would know this.
Yeah, but I mean, I could just start metagaming instead of playing Tarnin.
You did give Geisen all of the opportunity to make it happen, so
I
it's okay.
Tarnin is very much aware that he is compromised in the situation. So, okay, you make the decision. Do it. Make the decision. Are we stopping? Are we going? Or what? Nope. Yeah, we can just go. Okay, we're going. So I guess we're stopping.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. If we, like I said, we go too much further, I don't know if people are going to be happy to stop or if it's going to be a good place to stop.
If this was a Friday, we'd be having words, but it'd be...
Well, if this was a Friday, I wouldn't be saying this, but it's a Thursday.
Yeah, you know,
And everybody... Yeah.
I get it.
Hey, we didn't roll initiative yet, so we're good. I mean,
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly!
I can't imagine how many times have we gone through where we roll initiative and then pause for the night.
After initiative? Not usually. Not immediately. Let me rephrase that. Not immediately after.